dust has settled on the 2025-2026 NFL season, but this is the show that has no offseason. Welcome back into the NFC West Huddle. I'm Ethan McReynolds in Seattle. I'm joined by our panel of experts from around the division. Richard Sines in Phoenix, kind enough to take a break from playing with his Rock'em Sock'em robots on his desk to join us. We appreciate that. Richard, Gerard Moncure in Los Angeles, who probably just covered a championship parade somewhere in town, probably. Not for football, though. We know that much. At least we can narrow it down. And Keyshawn Ward in San Francisco, fresh off getting a nice pump at the gym. Hopefully, Keyshawn, you have enough left in the tank to talk some football with us. But gentlemen, let's get right into our first topic. Which position does your team need to address the most this offseason? Richard, I'll start with you and the Cardinals.
First of all, I just want to say I'm impressed that Keyshawn got into a sports coat. You know, I didn't know they had gyms with that had sports coats in there. He probably bench presses in that sports coat, right? With his curls there when he's in it. But yeah, if you hear some noise in the background, that's what we're doing some construction here at the station. It's also part of the Cardinals rebuild. So when you talk about what position the Cardinals need to address, it's the quarterback position. Yeah, I should have brought my hard hat. I think Kyler Murray's not going to wear a Cardinal helmet anymore. So we'll see what happens with the quarterback position. You got Jacoby Brissett, who played well last year. You got some options in the draft. There's a couple free agents out there. So I think you got to find out who your quarterback is going to be for at least next season, and then maybe get a younger guy you can develop for the future.
Yeah, Richard, I need to see that hard hat. You got to stay safe during the rebuild as well. We can't have anything happening to our precious Richard Sines on the NFC West Huddle. Keyshawn, you're next with the Niners.
I'll be just fine.
Okay, all right. We appreciate it. Keyshawn, I'll go to you next. What's the biggest positional need for San Francisco this offseason?
Well, Ethan, the most glaring need is the Niners must address the defensive end / outside linebacker position because they were ranked lowest in NFL with sack production. So that's something the Niners have to address, but it's obvious, not having Nick Bosa and Michael Williams out for the season, that hurts. But before those injuries, for years we've been asking for, the Niners to please get some help on the opposite end of Nick Bosa because once the schemes are focused on Nick Bosa, to chip him and focus on just taking him out of the equation, the teams have pretty much had all the time at the quarterback position and not get sacked or get hit often. So Niners have to address that immediately, whether it's getting a free agent or drafting somebody in the first round. They got to, address that immediately. And, having guys like Alfred Collins, C.J. West, those are good for the future. And also Keon White, as he recovers from that, that's getting shot by a little baby or alleged getting shot. We don't want to, accuse anybody, but all those elements in the Niners, in their defensive end and outside linebacker room, they're pretty good, but they need elite passers at the opposite of Nick Bosa.
Big positional need there, but maybe a new practice facility could be up there with the needs to prevent some of those injuries. Tinfoil hat, I don't know. All right, let's stay in California with the second place Los Angeles Rams, who finished second in the NFC West this year. Runners-up in the NFC Conference, if you didn't know. Gerard, which place do your second-place Rams need to focus on most this offseason?
Ethan, sounds like you've kind of been holding that in all season long, huh?
Like, maybe a little. I haven't been on in a while. I got to get my digs in.
That's what that sounds like to me. We got to go directly to the NFC Championship game, and because that's where the Rams season ended. Of the 24 first downs the Seahawks gained in that game, 19 came via the pass. Okay, that's where the game was lost for the Rams. Right off the bat, Jackson Smith-Njigba with a huge play against Darius Williams down the right sideline. In the games leading up to the Rams losing home field advantage, Kobe Durant and Emmanuel Forbes Jr. gave up 667 yards and 9 touchdowns. Some of that was with Quentin Lake out. He was on the injured list. But the bottom line, this is a Rams defense that believes in bend, don't break. But sometimes you've got to be able to just get off the field. And towards the end of the season, Kobe Durant, Emmanuel Forbes Jr., Roger McCurry, Akil Weatherspoon, and Darius Williams just did not do a good enough job, and they would tell you that. So the bottom line for the Rams is they've got to take a hard look this offseason at the quarterback position and get that figured out.
Yeah, for the Seahawks, we're sort of in the same boat. We've got a couple of different needs this offseason, but for me, it also starts at the cornerback position. Josh Jobe and Tariq Woolen are both free agents, that's 2 of your top 3 corners right there. Among players that are currently under contract, there isn't much behind Devin Witherspoon. 2024 fifth-rounder Nehemiah Pritchett would be next in line to start. He hasn't really shown that he's ready for that big of a role just yet. And then 30-year-old vet Shaq Griffin is behind him on the practice squad. I don't know if anybody would be too confident with either of those guys taking a starting spot. Even if you get one of Jobe or Woolen back, John Schneider's probably still going to need to supplement that position in the draft. So that's why cornerback for me is number 1. But running back is up there too, specifically if the Seahawks can't get a deal done with Kenneth Walker III. Zach Charbonnet tore his ACL in January against the Niners. He figures to miss most of next season. If Walker ends up leaving in free agency, that running back position is considerably thinner. It could be just as big of a concern for the Hawks this offseason, given Charbonnet's injury, the time he's going to miss. And speaking of free agency, let's just go right along to our next topic. If you could pick one current free agent for your team to sign that did not play last season with your team, so they wouldn't be re-signing with your team, who would it be and why? Gerard, I'll go to you first, the Rams.
Okay, we just got done talking about the cornerback position. So for me, it's Jalen Watson, the cornerback, formerly of the Chiefs. I guess you could still say he's with the Chiefs, but he's a free agent. It's going to cost them, estimated 3 years, $40 million. But the Rams need a lockdown corner. I just gave you all the reasons why. And if I am Sean McVay and Chris Shula, I'm going to get myself, with some of this money, a corner that can possibly, you can put him on an island. I'm not going to say he's like Darrelle Revis or anyone like that, but they got to get this position a little bit more shored up to go with the rest of their defense so they can get off the field when they need to, not just letting a team like we saw the Seahawks expire the clock for the most part in that fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game. You've got to just be able to go 3 and out sometimes. They didn't do that enough. So that's where I would target. I would go Jalen Watson. He's only 27 years old. That would be my target.
Richard, the Cardinals have some holes to fill in that construction zone that you're in the middle of. Which free agent would you pick for the Cardinals?
Yeah, when you got so many holes to fill, right? It's such a big rebuild, as you can hear in the background right now. Do I have to pick just one? Can I pick several? Because that's how many
crazy, Richard.
holes they got to fill here. There's a lot of these. First of all, can I just say how much I love this show? We can get a little baby reference in the show, and it's just like nothing, I want to mention the baby because I like the baby better than little baby. It's not the baby, that's my baby. That's the guy I like. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, I like Kenneth Walker because you never know about James Conner. He's a little long in the tooth, so Cardinals are going to need a running back. You saw how difficult it was for the Cardinals to function on offense without a solid running game. Then Breece Hall from the Jets is also a free agent, but I also like Elijah Vera Tucker, a guard with the Jets also. Oh, by the way, Mike LaFleur, before he got to the construction zone here in Arizona, he was with the Jets, drafted Tucker, so maybe he brings him here. So several options for the Cardinals, and of course, now that I'm done talking, they stop with the construction.
Well, might I add a suggestion for you, Richard? The quarterback position needs to be filled. Maybe moving on for Carl. Geno Smith might be a free agent. One of your favorite quarterbacks in the entire world, right?
You know what? And when he gets here, we'd be like, man, I always believed in you. You're my guy. You're my guy once he gets here.
The switch-up would be fun to watch. That would make this show a lot more entertaining. Hopefully, Gino, watcher of the great NFC West Huddle, hopefully he'll make it happen for us. I'll go next with the Seahawks. We talked about the cornerback position. I feel like John Schneider can supplement that with getting one of either Josh Jobe or Tariq Woolen back. I would go with Josh Jobe personally, and then getting a guy in the draft. I'm going to go with edge Trey Hendrickson. The Seahawks were rumored to be interested in trading for Hendrickson during his holdout last offseason. So I'd love to finally see him here in Seattle after all the daydreaming to add some pressure off the edge on this already elite defense. He had an injury-riddled 2025 season playing in just 7 games, but had back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons in 23 and 24. He's the type of guy that would instantly raise the ceiling of this already incredible defense. They were very good at rushing the passer last year, but they mostly got their pressure from the interior of the defensive line with Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy both logging 7 sacks apiece. That was tied for the team high. But with edge rusher Boye Mafe hitting free agency, and he sort of looks like a guy the Seahawks will have to let walk, I would love to see Hendrickson take his snaps from Mike McDonald's defense. I don't know how realistic it is because of the price tag. That will probably come with him and extensions needing to get done with JSN and Spoon. But that's the guy I really want the Seahawks to go out and get, even if it maybe isn't the most realistic thing in the world. Keyshawn, over to you next. What are you thinking for the Niners?
Wow, Ethan, you pretty much took the guy I was going to say. I thought Trey Hendrickson would have been here last year during the trade deadline, but the Niners went on ahead and got Keon White instead. But since you chose Trey, I'm going to go a route most people in the Bay who want to see in the red and gold. I would say Max Crosby. He's 3 years younger than Trey. He's 28 years old. He's still elite at his position. And like I've mentioned earlier in this show, the Niners need an elite pass rusher. And I just think that they keep kind of getting these clearance rack. No offense to the guys out there that's on the team, but they're not elite at the position. They're good guys, but they need somebody to really, get attention away from Nick Bosa, and then I think Max Crosby can really do that. Now, the problem is, if they get somebody like Max Crosby, they will have to give up some draft capital. But a player at his caliber, I think is well worth it if the Niners want to win a Lombardi trophy.
Yeah, another guy the Seahawks have been connected to. Wouldn't mind either of those players. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we have more NFC West Huddle right after this. Welcome back into the NFC West Huddle. We're rolling right along to our next topic. Over the last 10 years, the Rams have won the division 4 times. The Seahawks and Niners have both won it 3 times. Looking at the next 5 years, which team do you think wins the most NFC West titles? Keyshawn, which team are you picking and why?
I'm going to go ahead and pick the 49ers just because I think that the Los Angeles Rams with Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, I think once they win another Super Bowl, I think they're going to walk on to the sunset. I see Matt Stafford being accomplished in his career. He has 2 Lombardi trophies, and what else he has to prove? Sean McVay, he's already flirted with the idea of becoming a broadcaster, so that'll be interesting to see. And then with Seattle, their defense is young and brash, but 5 years from now, all those guys are going to get paid at some point. And I'm looking at the Niners. Their quarterback's already been paid with Brock Purdy, and most of their team is pretty young and cheap. So I think that the Niners will have more division titles in the next 5 years.
Richard, I don't want to call you the neutral party here, but it's been a while since the Cardinals have won the division. Which team do you think runs the division for the next 5 years?
Well, yeah, the Cardinals aren't going to be, right? Especially when they're in this literal rebuild, right? You can hear it in the background. But I kind of talked about this not too long ago when I said Seattle. They're about to go on a run here. Gerard didn't like it because I was talking about, the core players for the Seattle Seahawks were young, and you guys, were already peaking and could go on a run here if you keep your core players. So I got to say the Seattle Seahawks, maybe LA, because they can buy stuff and get a quick fix. That's for sure. We're here in Arizona. It's a long rebuild. That's for sure.
Yeah, the rebuild. You got the sound effects in the background, pretty appropriate. Before Gerard predicts the Rams to win the division for the next 5 years and beyond, probably, I'll give my pick. No surprise. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. In my opinion, the Hawks have the best coach in the NFL in Mike Macdonald. The way he was able to establish his culture as quickly as he has and gotten complete buy-in from the players is special. And that's not going away in the next 5 years. Keyshawn, as you alluded to, maybe some of the players are going to change. Mike Macdonald, his messaging, his culture, what he's building, that's not going anywhere. Also, throw into the fact how well his defense has performed against Kyle Shanahan. I like the Seahawks' odds against specifically the 49ers. He's only 38, the 3rd youngest coach in the league. He's going to be a problem for the rest of the division for years to come. Pair that with one of the youngest rosters in the league, a young offensive line with both cornerstone tackles recently signing extensions, a quarterback on a very team-friendly deal, at least for the next couple of years, and then recent draft classes filled with quality starters and all-pro players, some superstars even. The Hawks are stacked. Even with a lengthy list of free agents this offseason, the Seahawks are well-positioned with the 6th most cap space in the league. John Schneider has this team set up to be a legit contender for the foreseeable future. They are my pick to run the division for the next half decade. Gerard, I feel like I know what direction you're going to go, but what about you? What team are you going with and why?
Okay, well, I'm going to break Keyshawn's heart here first because Sean McVay, after they won that first Super Bowl in 2021, of course, there was talk of him stepping away. I had a sit-down interview with him at the beginning of the year, and he told me now he and his wife, Veronica, with their 2 children, he just had another kid, are set in a position both financially, obviously, but more mentally and physically, where he said he told me this preseason, he was set to coach the Rams for the next 10 years. Okay, so let's get that off the board. Now, these things can change if you win another Super Bowl and the network's throwing millions of dollars at you. But that's what he said to me this preseason a couple of months ago. So he's not going anywhere as far as I'm concerned. I will say this. Matthew Stafford's 38. He's going to come back. Devontae Adams has another year on his deal. He'll come back. You take those two out of the mix, and they are big-time players in the Rams organization. The Rams are the third youngest team in the NFL. If Stafford leaves, you do have to replace the quarterback spot, which is the most important position in sports. That will not be easy. But this Rams team, if they can find the Stafford replacement, will be very competitive over the next 5 years, which is what the question is. So I'm going to continue to pick the Rams. They're going to win the division, I think, next year, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, one thing is for sure, these teams are going to be fighting for the next 5 years. But I think, Richard, you said you were going to be okay. I think we need to get you that hard hat, though. We'll see if we can do that in the break. We're going to step aside really quick. Don't go anywhere. We got more NFC West Huddle coming up. Welcome back to the NFC West Huddle. We have one final topic to get to, the NFL Combine. It's beginning. So in that vein, which Combine drill do you personally think you would be best at, and which one would you be worst at? Speaking of drills, I feel like it's most appropriate to go over to Richard first. Richard, I don't know if they're building like the Combine set over there for you guys.
I got my drill. I'm ready.
It's
a different kind of drill.
Which drill, other like football drill, would you be best at? Which one would you be worst at?
Yeah, I'm full in on the rebuild here for the Cardinals. Got my drill, got my goggles. This is the best drill I'm at right now. This is the drill I'm best at right now. I don't know about the 40-yard dash. That would be my worst one. I hurt my ankle just walking into the station today for my car. I'm like, what's going on here? So that's what happened to me. So 40-yard dash would be my worst one. Maybe the cones, because I'm cat quick. You know, I don't have the speed anymore, but the lateral movement I have. So that's other than this drill, that's the only other drill I can be good at. So guys, back to you.
Yeah, you're quick with the comebacks too. I love it. Keyshawn, let's go over to you next. I was giving you crap at the top of the show for being buff. We all know that you got the arms.
Pick the bench press. Just say it already.
Yeah, I'm sure you could put up some numbers on the bench press. I would love to see that. But which drills are you going with?
So it's funny, I already knew you guys assumed I would say probably bench press probably be the best drill, but it's actually not.
Okay.
I think if I was to test at the Combine this week, I'd probably get somewhere between 10 to 13 reps with 225. Shocking, right? But I don't think I would get like some of them were in the 20 or 30 reps. The best drill for me is actually going to be the vertical drill. I'm only 5'9", but I could jump, man. I ain't tomahawking like LeBron James, but for somebody at my height, I can jump pretty high. The last time I tested for a vertical jump was probably when I was like 22 years old. I got a 33, and according to ChatGPT and Google, the above average, most people get 16 to 20. I'm at 33 at my height. Not too shabby, I might say. The worst, it's just kind of strange, is another jump, is the broad jump. Since I'm only 5'9", I can't jump that far forward. I don't know why, but God gave me the gift to jump high, but not forward. So the best would be vertical, but the worst would be broad jump.
Wow. Keyshawn, okay. All right. Don't step on a pickup court, go up in transition against Keyshawn. He'll make you look like a fool, put you on the ground. Gerard, let's go over to you. What are you going with for best and worst drill for you?
Well, I'll start with this. I'm older than all you guys, okay? Now, I did play college basketball, Division II college basketball, and back in those days, I was pretty fast and pretty quick, and I could jump. I could dunk a tennis ball. I don't have huge hands, but I could jump. What I still can do, I can't do those things anymore, but what I can do is I can bench press. I can definitely probably put up right now 225 between 12 and 15 reps. So that would be my strong suit. All the speed drills, the agility stuff, out the window. Those days are over. Those days are over. Long over. So I would stick with the bench press. The other stuff I'd have to leave alone.
Wow. We're learning a lot of stuff here on the NFC West Huddle. Go ahead, Richard.
I said the Wonderlic
Say
test.
that
Is
again,
a drill? I think I'd be pretty good at that.
Yeah, we're learning a lot. What I have learned today is we need Keyshawn and Gerard on a bench press, and we got to settle this. That's a competition.
Hey, we can do this. Gerard, I'm ready. Let me know.
You guys are in the same state. Just roll up I-5.
Let's
we'll
not
get
hurt
it going.
ourselves, okay?
You gotta get some cameras there. Yeah. For me, the 40-yard dash would probably be my best drill. My speed was definitely my biggest strength growing up, playing baseball as a leadoff hitter, contact guy. Thought I did pretty well in the 60-yard dash at a showcase event in high school. They do the 60 in baseball. That is until Corbin Carroll stepped up right after me and ran a full half second faster than I did or something like that. Richard, you know how fast Corbin Carroll is. Went to a rival high school of mine. That was one of those moments where it was like, there's levels to this. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing baseball. My worst drill, definitely bench press. Gerard, Keyshawn, I will be cheering you guys on. I'm nowhere close to benching 225. Not sure I ever will be. That's a dream of mine. I will say one of my favorite parts of the combine, watching the linemen make that barbell look like just like a styrofoam prop from a movie with how easily they can move that thing. I looked up the record. Justin Ernest set the combine record back in 1999 with 51 reps. Absolutely insane. I would love to see a human being do that. He never appeared in an NFL game, though, so maybe not the biggest indicator of future success in the NFL. Richard, we have about a minute left. Do you have a favorite part of the combine, a favorite drill to watch or anything like that?
I like the 40-yard dash because I like the speed, but I also now I want to change my drill that I would be best at because Keyshawn was talking about it. I'm going to change it to the vertical jump because I still do that to this day. When my boss around here says jump, I say how high, and I just do whatever they tell me to. Like, hey, there's construction going on over there. Go do a show. I say, yeah, Captain, and I come and I do it. So vertical jump is what I'm going to switch mine to. And of course now the construction guys take a break when we're about to be done with the show. Now they're going to be quiet and go to lunch. Thanks a lot, guys.
There we go.
You forgot your drill.
We got some athletes here at the NFC West Huddle. That is incredible. All right, on that note, we gotta wrap it up. That's gonna do it for this edition of the NFC West Huddle. We'll be back with more NFL talk next week as we continue to discuss the offseason and get to some more rebuild talk with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sure that will still be going on for our friends in Phoenix. Thanks as always to our incredible panel from around the division. We'll see you guys next time.